Oh, they're rolling now. They're asking the DOJ to do their fight to get millions of people to put their masks back on. A Washington Examiner headline points out mask mandate exposes divide between vulnerable Democrats and Biden. Tammy Bruce, Fox News contributor, host of Get Tammy Bruce on Fox Nation, joining me here in Los Angeles. I'm on special assignment, and you are here with me.
I am.
It's terrific to see you.
It's nice to see you.
So we were both able to take a couple of flights where people could make their own choices about masking. Apparently, there's some magical happening in 2 weeks. Where we'll be able to do that anyway, but the White House wants to fight it for now.
Right.
Why?
Well, COVID is taking its spring break. They're out. COVID is gone, and it won't affect you. But what's fascinating here, and you certainly have touched upon it, and it's the compulsion to confess. In both an initial statement and by Jen Psaki confirmed that this was about maintaining the authority of the CDC. They like what they've been able to do during the pandemic. Issue orders, bypassing Congress. You know, just have Congress make an order if this is so important for national transportation, and then let Joe Biden sign it. But they want to maintain the authority of the CDC separate from the political branch, as of course it's all political, to make these orders. In the meantime, you've got a dynamic where the American people understand now the politics of all of this. And I think what they're doing is, look, if they say they're going to appeal this, but they've at this point have not issued a stay. So as you've noted, what's going to be the difference in the next 2 weeks?
That's interesting.
And it's the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, which is now mostly, I believe, Trump appointees, which means this would likely get to the Supreme Court. And I think that's good, because we don't want this to happen again. We don't want the CDC to be a tyrant and a dictator. And that's where these, judicial decisions, that's what will be cleared up. But this is like another Afghanistan, if you will. Every single thing that they've done has been a disaster. This decision is a disaster. They will lose at every court level, but it makes it look like they're fighting, and they'll fight to the election. And that's the extent of it. But I believe we will still win on this.
So, there is room for the criticism that there is no love for corporations from this White House. And why do I say that? Why do I say there's room for those critics? Always at the table, we enjoy every view, but I get that one, particularly in this instance, because the corporations, those airlines get caught in the middle. Like, they make the announcements, nope, we're mask free. You slap that back on for 2 weeks, and look at the position that you put flight attendants in then.
Yes.
Right? As they sort of walk the balance beam between the Biden politics and then reality through the science. I do want to get to this, because Biden's got a bigger problem now. It's inside of his party. And the complicit liberal media who like to run alongside, they just jog with him. They're sounding the alarm over ending public transit mask mandates. Watch this.
It's not only not the right time, it's a little early, but it's not even the right manner in which these mandates were overturned.
This decision is going to single-handedly accelerate cases throughout the U.S. It's counterproductive to our shared goal of return to normal.
The fact that we're still using that ongoing narrative about exercising your freedom is still very disturbing to me. What the CDC is asking for, Jose, is such a small sacrifice.
So he's not going to get what he wants, the president, right? What's he going to do with those left-leaners if he can't get, what, are they going to hate on him? Here's some passengers who say it's time to move on.
Yeah, I'm very happy to not wear a mask. A lot less stressful, not having to worry about having a mask for everybody.
It just seems like it's time to be done. There's got to be a point where we're just done.
So here's what's not happening. We're not hearing about science anymore. And we still are in a pandemic. Like, we do need to know more about the science of this virus. They are completely in political mode.
And everyone sees it. And that's what's interesting. The average person recognizes it. And what you said previously about putting regular people in this position, it confirms the politics of it, where you don't have to wear it for 2 weeks, but now you do have to wear it for 2 weeks. It's about our authority. It's this, that, and the other thing. Having people, it makes it worse to be on it and then to be off it. And fascinatingly, that one comment from a commentator was that this is going to hurt our return to normal. So getting back to normal is going to hurt the return to normal. And what happened to Biden's, we're going to overcome COVID, we're going to get back to normal. And this, what they want in part, I think, is masks to be normal. This is an issue about control. This is why the American people haven't liked it. Putting on that mask, and now people on our flights without a mask, it reminds you of the impact of them. And that is going to set in for these next 2 weeks. And there is going to be, I don't know, maybe they want the divide in the country. Some people have liked the government being able to issue these orders. Regular leftists, they want to reinforce government control. And they need a fight. Well, but this can't be it. It's harming the country.
Look no farther than your school boards to figure that out. Right.
Great point.
Is you've seen people come in to communities and sit on those boards who might have an agenda. I want to get to Title 42, though.
Yes, ma'am.
Because all of this is happening with the backdrop of, as I said, there's still a pandemic. Now, in countries where their vaccines have not proven to be as effective as here, and there's a lot of conversation about how many shots you get and so on. That's not what this is about. What this is about is if you have a prayer's hope of protecting yourself from an onslaught of people who are not being tested and all of that, Title 42 helps keep them south of the border. Today, there is reporting from our own Bill Malushin that, well, you know, some of the border officials are telling their crews, go ahead and relax some of that already. Go ahead and don't apply Title 42 already. May 23rd is not even here yet.
You know, and you also can't apply Title 42 with so many getaways, with such chaos. It's not as though everyone is going through Ellis Island and you can check and test and figure out what's going on with people. So the argument has been some of the numbers have been so huge because there hasn't literally been any control because they're overwhelmed. Imagine if at the beginning of COVID, we did not have Trump's wall. We did not have the established security at the border. And what we would have had in California, in the Southwest, with people pouring into the country, not just from South and Central America, but from around the world as we do now, because you know what the danger is, what we don't know, and who's coming in from other countries who aren't vaccinated at all for anything, whether it's measles or tuberculosis, or if it's scabies that they've got.
And God bless them.
Zika.
I mean, they get here, and our health system, as overburdened as it has been for the last 2 years, is still doing a much better job to take care of them as we do as a country, because we're just that great. And right? We're going to do that. And I don't mean greatness by, like, you know, pat yourself on the back. No. I mean greatness by the amount of effect we can have.
And taking away Title 42 has invited more of a push to come to the border. That conversation itself, regardless of what they do, is going to show up when it ends.
Thank you for getting me started there and tying that in to this whole mask mandating situation. I don't hear of a mask mandate for the people on the border. I know that we're giving them masks.
And phones.
And phones. Tammy Bruce, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
In Focus.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.